Mr. Shelby, may I tell you something? You have a lot of enemies.
Enemies. Does your ambition have no limits?
I have no limitations.
I have no limitations.
Keeping on back for the next say something. Never tell her back that I never stay running. Sipping on facts, damn, know I got stacks in the lab. Taking bitches straight for another cat.
What's going on, guys? I've been building my AI-driven market model for the markets, and I just started working on it for Bitcoin, and I discovered a really cool early signal hack for the 4-year cycle that gives you a warning prior to Bitcoin putting in a major top. So my AI is Archimedes. I call him Archie. And I want to share that with you in this video. But first, some house cleaning. Guys, give me a follow on X at Market Canary. If you want to come join our Discord, check out marketmakers.trade. I would love to see you on the Discord. And if you want to trade the market, support the channel, check out Bitunix, be a Market Makers VIP on our link. So I'm going to be traveling some this week, guys, to South Florida. So this may be my only video here on YouTube and X, but I'll be posting updates in the Discord as per usual as well. But let's look at the 4-year cycle, then we're going to get to the current price action. Most of you involved in crypto know the 4-year cycle. For those that don't, just a really brief overview, okay? Going back to 2013, roughly every 4 years between peaks, 211 bars. This is a weekly time frame, right? So you have 208 bars is 4 years. So 2013 peak, which is a tiny blip, to 2017 was 211 bars. 2017 to November 2021 was 204 bars. So if you continue the 4-year topping cycle, that puts you out in November 2025, okay? If you were to continue. Couple of interesting things here on the 4-year cycle. When was your peak in 2013? It's either November, December, can't quite see, late November, early December. So November, December. When was your peak in 2017? Your peak was in December. When was your peak in 2021? Your peak was in November. So again, 2025, according to that 4-year cycle, would be your peak in November or December if it repeats. But wait, there's more. The bottoming cycle is symmetrical. This is why geometric AI-driven market models are really cool, because the bottoming cycle, again, many of you may already know this, almost 4 years. From the low after the peak in 2013 to the low after the peak in 2017 was almost 4 years, 203 bars. From the low in 2017 after the peak to the next low right here, or 15.5 that we had, this was another 206 bars. Again, when were these bottoms? The last two? November, December, okay? November, December. November, December tops, November, December bottoms. This is telling you if you continue the 4-year cycle, your next low is November, December 2026. So you'd have a November, December 2025 Bitcoin top and a November, December 2026 low in the cycle. If you were to continue that cycle, that's a whole separate discussion. We'll get into that in other videos. That's a long discussion. With all the adoption, all the apps, the futures trading, the Genius Act with stablecoins, will we have an elongated cycle? Are the markets which drive the entire investment community, the S&P, is that going to top this fall? Those are future videos. What I want to show you is a cool hack. So I saw a post. And the post on Zero Hedge, he was talking about the 200 weekly moving average, showing that every time the 200 weekly moving average moved above the prior cycle's all-time high, Bitcoin was topping. And this is true, okay? I went back to 2013. The problem was, let me zoom in so you can see this. Look at 2017 as an example here. From the 2013 high, pink line is a 200 weekly moving average. Let's try to be accurate here, okay? So we look at this, 200 crosses, pretty much got a good top on this on the 2017 high, right about there, depending on you would draw that in the weekly time frame, almost got the top, okay? But then when you look at 2021, here you are crossing the 2017 high. You see that little window right there? When you look at 2021, let's put this trend here, or let's put this line here. Maybe right here, right there, right? Well, you missed the top. The top was 69K. When the 200 crossed on the weekly time frame, the 2017 high, Bitcoin was 32,000 points. So, I mean, Obviously it topped at that point, right? So that's a big drop down to 32K. So anyways, I was working with Archie looking at this and using my geometric model, came up with 108 geometric significance and utilizing the RMA, the relative moving average, okay? So this is the yellow line and it gives you a better signal, an earlier signal in this case. So if you look at this from the RMA perspective, I'll show you guys how to get this as well, okay? When you look at this from the RMA perspective, just look at 2021. Within 30 days, look at that. Look how close that was to the top, right? Within 30 days of the RMA crossing, the 108 RMA crossing the 2017 high, you got the all-time high. I would rather get the warning before, not after. Same thing over in 2017. Within 30 days of crossing the RMA, crossing the 2013 high, within 30 days, you got the all-time high. So what does this mean? What's the point of even showing you this? The point is right here. If you look at this, the previous cycle high in November 2021 was 69K. Look at the 108 RMA. The idea would be if this continues, the 108 RMA is going to cross 69K. Right now it's 54K. When it crosses 69K, based on the last two iterations of the cycle here, this would be telling you Bitcoin's putting in a major top, a cycle top, if that 4-year cycle was to continue, okay? So it's an early warning indicator once you cross the 2021 November high that you're going to be getting a major cycle top in Bitcoin. So does it have to play out? Again, depends whether or not you believe the 4-year cycle is going to hold true or whether or not it's going to get extended. You guys know my view if you watch my market videos. We're going to know if we're getting the blow off top. We're going to have an explosive move in a condensed time frame, and we have targets that have to be hit. So again, we'll cover this in future videos, but this is a really cool hack on the weekly time frame, the 108 RMA. So how do you get this? One of our members, Fractal Trade 15, who designs a lot of our custom indicators, he has these public, the TGMA, Trend Gradient Moving Average. Thousands of people have them. Download it, guys. Put it on the RMA at 108. Let me know if it works for you. Let me know if you have a better suggestion than Archie. But I thought that was really cool on the weekly. An early warning detection signal for the 4-year cycle top. Just want to share that with you guys. Thought you might find it useful. Let's look at some Bitcoin current price action. Current price action, we are going sideways and a Wyckoff fractal on the daily time frame, right? We had the ABC down here, and then we have this move back up higher. So let's look at this zoomed in, okay? So when we zoom in on this, again, I'm looking for that 132 rally, okay? People are telling you this is bearish. People are telling you this is bullish. What is it? In actuality, it's neutral. You're in an uptrend, so continuation of trend, knowing that the pain trade is higher. I believe we're breaking out. If we can break out above 112, we're going to 132. Been saying that for months now. That's our target of 132. When you look at the actual trend on the daily, we'll zoom into the 8-hour time frame. When you look at the actual trend on the daily, right? You had your all-time high, you put in a low. You put in a lower high, you put in a lower low, but now you're starting to reverse. Small reversal, but you're starting to reverse. You now have a higher low, and you put in an intraday, almost an intraday higher high. What is this? 110 here, 110.630. And this is 110.43 almost. So it's still a lower high. You have a higher low. You don't have a trend. But what you're doing is you're coiling. You're compressing. You're going to have a move, okay? You're compressing. If you can keep the higher low in place, look at your July 10th pivot. Very important, because if you hold this level and the markets do their summer rally and Bitcoin participates, you're going to be breaking out to the upside. And again, that target is 132. I can get you to 132 on the larger pattern, condensing the topping formation in. There's your 132, right? I can get you there on just this topping pattern over here, this sideways pattern over here, going from 111.949, pulling it down to that retracement level. Look at your 2618, 134. You have a stop right there at 120 at the 1618. So you start getting Fibonacci confluence. Our larger pattern on our big macro pattern has had 132 for months now, as you guys know. So I think that's the target once you break out. Just look at the fractal from last year. Right, as you guys know, Bitcoin's been repeating the same fractal 3 years in a row. it's been rallying. So last year, July 5th was your bottom, right? July 5th was your low. You rallied until late July, July 29th. What do you have this year? You got July 9th. The trade issues or the trade deals are supposed to come to fruition. That's the deadline, July 9th. And then you have July 29th and 30th, you have PAL, okay? So last year, you rallied to late July, 31%, then sold off 30%, an equidistant move. And if you look at this again in 2023, same thing. You bottomed in mid-June, you rallied to mid-July, and then you sold off. 28% up, 24% down. But this last year's fractal is really interesting because July 5th was your low, and you eased on up for a 30% move all the way to July 29th. What was your low here? If you look at your low here, June 22nd. Where's your July 5th candle? July 5th was your just a little low down here. Low, what is that? Right there, nothing. So you're going sideways still, but this can easily break out to the upside. And that's what I think is going to happen, guys. If you take out 112, I think you're going to 132. That's what the fractals tell me. That's what we've done the last 3 years. I don't think you're topping yet, but you'll know if you're topping if you come down and start taking out these levels. If you take out 95K, Bitcoin's retracing. It's not moving up, okay? And if Bitcoin's falling like that, then look at what the markets are doing as well. But your key pivot's on the 10th, okay? And it's just around the corner on Thursday. If you keep chopping sideways, look for a potential pivot on the 10th out to the upside. Be important to watch. What about our Desmond volume delta, my custom indicator? What's it doing? Look at this. I mean, it's just telling you that you're going sideways. There's your volume you're buying and selling. Money flow is still positive. It's in a bullish territory. Again, if the market's summer rally and Bitcoin participates, it's going to take out 112 and it's going to 132 by late July. That's the goal there. That's what it does, these 30% moves. If you go off the low here, 98, up to that 132, it's 34%. If you go off just from where you're at now and you pivot out on July 10th, it's a 21% move. Easily doable, okay? It's Bitcoin. It's easily doable. You look at the 8-hour time frame, you can see that you've had some clear resistance at the 90% line in Fibonacci, right? Resistance, downfall. Resistance, right here, you hit it, you pulled back, and you came up. So again, daily, it's very neutral sideways chopping. On the 8-hour, you put in a low, you hit resistance, you put in a higher low, and then you popped up above it, okay? And now you got back down again, another higher low, and you're trying to stay above it. Watch what happens on like the 8-hour time frame on July 10th. See if that pivot gives us a pivot to the upside. I think it's very important to pay attention to, guys. One more chart on Bitcoin, the big macro pattern. Again, we've had this pattern all year long. 132 has been the goal. We have a lot of things that get us to 132, including range expansion off the 15.5 low, a doubling of the range, nails you at 132, lines up perfectly with Fibonacci at our 1618 of our macro pattern, the same pattern that gave us the 109 top. And then the drop is telling us we're going to 132. Resistance, big retracement with the markets when they do their summer sell-off after their summer rallies. Then we see what happens. Do you make a lower high and start tracking to the head and shoulders pattern here? Or do we hold this, right? Do we hold this, come back up, and get another big move up? And that next level would be 150 and then 168, okay? We'll be covering that in future videos. Hope you enjoy that hack on the 4-year cycle. I think you guys will find it useful. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you find a better way to do it. And I'll talk to you guys on X and hope to see you in the Discord.